My dear friends, I am Sethuram from Nivedita Academy. In the last session, we discussed about the verbal group, where we discussed about why we call a verb as a verbal group, what is the main verb, what is the auxiliary verb, what are the functions of auxiliary, what is the function of auxiliary verbs, and we studied a finite verb also. Okay, now let us study about, I told you already that modern grammarians say there is no future tense. Yes. Why? For example, my uncle comes from Chennai tomorrow. Here comes is a verb. It is in present tense. Comes is a simple present tense. But we are using it for the future action. Tomorrow. Comes, a present tense verb is used for the actions which happen in future. You can tell me, sir, our teachers have taught my uncle will come from Chennai tomorrow. Will only should be the correct one, like that. Yes, you are right. I also taught like that some years. Later I changed myself. Because the modern grammarians say this. They are arguing with some kind of examples. My uncle comes from Chennai tomorrow, when you say, it shows a person certainty. But when you say about my uncle will come from Chennai tomorrow, that shows only 95 to 99% of certainty. You can use even would also. My uncle would come from Chennai tomorrow. When you say that would, that shows 90 to 95% of certainty. You can use can also. When you use can, my uncle can come from Chennai tomorrow, that shows only 85 to 90% of certainty. When you say my uncle could come from Chennai tomorrow, that shows 80 to 85% of certainty. Could. You can use may also. When you use may, that shows 75 to 80% of certainty. Yes, you can use might also. When you use might, my uncle might come from Chennai tomorrow, that shows 70 to 75% of certainty. All these verbs show the various degree of certainty only. Will is showing some higher form of certainty, but it does not show 100% certainty. So we say would and should can be used for probability condition, whereas other can or could or may or might can be used for possibility condition. You see, just I tell you, you saw your father just before at your house, and you are coming out of the house, someone is asking you, is your daddy at home? Immediately what do you say? Yes, he is at home. You are using he is. He shows present tense verb. You are using present tense. Yes, he is. Yes, he is at home. You are saying 100% certainty. You saw your father some time back. When you are coming, he was not there. But most probably by the time he used to be there in the house. But this man is asking you, is your daddy at home? You are not ready to say, yes, he is at home, because you did not see him. You have a little doubt whether he is sleeping inside the house or for some emergency work he had gone out. You have a doubt. So you are saying, he will be at home. He will be at home. In Tamil we say, Ama, irpare. Irkano. Irkano da nenikiren. So that kind of response only you are saying. That shows will refers 95 to 99% of certainty. You can use may and can also. That also show future. The traditional grammarians say will and shall are the exclusive verbal form for future. But just like all the other auxiliary verbs, like can, could, may, might, these will and shall are used for futurity. They are also not saying 100% certainty. Only will is used only for 95 to 99% of certainty. Then how can we say that will is a exclusive verbal form for future? The modern grammarians are asking. Moreover, they say will and shall are not used only for future action alone. Just like all the other auxiliary verbs used for some other functions. These are also used. When you say, it will rain today, You are not saying, you are not very much about, you are not very sure about your statement. Okay. You are guessing. It is a prediction, that's all. We can say it is a simple future, that's all. It shall rain today, it will rain today. You say it. But you cannot say that is a 100% certainty. As I told you already, he will be at home now. That shows 95 to 99% of certainty. You ask the question, would you give me your pen? It is only a request. Will you give me your pen? Will you give me your pen? It is a request. It is not showing future. Some people are trying to lift a log up. You are also, you see the situation, you want to help them. So you would like to give a helping hand, saying, I'll help you. You give a helping hand, the log is lifted up. So here, you are expressing your willingness only. You are not saying future. Just like that, I shall return the book tomorrow. I shall return the book tomorrow shows a promise. I promise you to return the book tomorrow. That's the meaning. It does not show future alone. Shall we go to movie tonight? That is, shall we? You are using, let us. You are giving a suggestion. Let us go to movie tonight. That's the meaning. It does not show future alone. Just like you gave a helping hand to lift the log up, you cannot do all the work. Some of the works assigned to your friend in the office, you also know your friend is finding very difficult in completing the work, so you want to help. But you cannot draw a paper immediately. You cannot write as you lifted a log up. Here, you have to ask his willingness also. So you say, I shall help you. I shall help you means, I am ready to help you provided you want my help. That's the meaning. You can straight away ask the question also, shall I help you? Right? So that way, this is used only for asking the willingness of the listener. So this way only will and shall are used. So will and shall are used not only for future. They are doing some other functions just like all the other auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliary verbs are doing. So how can you say that these are the exclusive verbal form for future? This is the question asked by the modern grammarians. Moreover, another one question. People say that modern grammarian says, traditional grammarians say that, especially non-modern grammar, that only people are using it as a Bible in the schools. All the teachers are using it as a Bible in the school. They used to teach. And you also would have started writing, taking notes, and memorized, and all these things you would have done it. That says, present tense is a tense which denotes an action which happens in the present time. Past tense is a tense which denotes an action which happened in the past. Future tense is a tense which denotes an action which will happen in the future. So these kind of definitions you could come across. I'll ask you a few questions. Modern grammarians are saying some questions, some examples. My uncle comes from Chennai tomorrow. I already quoted this. Comes is a present tense. It is used for future. I am going to Chennai tomorrow. You are using future action. Use present tense, you are using it for future action. I am going to Chennai tomorrow. That way. So here, and then I have done my homework. Have done is a past perfect. No, is a present perfect tense. You say present tense. Anyway, it is a present tense. Present tense. Once, but it is used for completed action. The work is over or not. Whether it is recently over or very long back over, it is over. The work which is over is called the past action. A present tense is used for past action. You know that will and shall, you are using it for future tense. When you take that future tense, or how will you call would and should? Would and should are the past tense form of will and shall. When you say will and shall are the future tense, how will you call would and should? You have to call then past tense form of future tense like that. So it is somewhat confusing. So the modern grammarians say will, shall, can, may, must are present tense verbal forms. But we have the corresponding past tense verbs. For will you have would, for shall you have should, for can you have could, for may you have might. So this way they are used. Just because would, should, could, might are past tense, they always do not show past actions alone. They may show you present action also. I give some examples. Would you give me a book? It is a request, polite request. It is used only for the present situation. I would like to buy a new scooter. You want to express your willingness. I want to buy a new scooter. That's the meaning. I would rather have coffee than tea. Here you are showing preference. You are giving preference. I prefer coffee to tea. So these are all used for future, for present situation only, not for past. But tense is past. Just like the should, you say should. I should submit my notebook today. It shows moral responsibility. At the same time, elders used to give advice to the youngsters. You should study well, you should get up early in the morning, you should score good marks, you should not play under the hot sun. That way the people, elders give advice to the youngsters. That shows moral advice. These are used only for the present situation, not for future, not for past. But tense is past, should is a past tense verb. Should you study well, you will pass examination. That shows if you study well, you will pass examination. You should study well, otherwise you cannot pass the examination, you will not pass the exam. That is the meaning. So should is used for present situation only, but tense is the past. I can lift the box, I could lift the box. Both give the present meaning only. Only when I could lift the elephant, when I was young. When you use that when I was young, then only it shows a past action. Otherwise it's a present. Or you can use have, en or ed form along with would, should, could, might. Then you can take it as a past. Or in a past narration, you are all the sentences are past. In between you are writing one could, would, should, could, like that. In that case, that is a past. For discrete sentence, a discrete sentence. When you write a sentence discrete, you cannot take it as a past. That is, you are expressing an action in the past. It is a present situation only. So then now I ask you, what's the tense then? Tense is, but people say, the traditional grammar say, tense refers to time. But what from the examples what I told you just before, discussed so far, these examples does not show the present tense, always does not show present action alone. The past tense verbs does not always show past action alone. Present tense verbs, mostly they are using for present action, sometimes they are used for past action also, sometimes used for future also. Just like that, past tense verbs are used mostly for past situation. Sometimes they are used for present situation and future situation also. You cannot say categorically that present tense shows only present action, past tense shows only past action, just like Run and Morton grammar says. Okay. So, tense is merely a verbal form. Tense is merely a verbal form. There is no one-to-one relationship between tense and time. Tense and time are two different concepts. There is no one-to-one relationship. Do, does are present tense. This past tense. Am, is, are present tense verbal forms. Was and were are past tense verbal forms. Have, has are present tense verbal forms. Had is a past tense verbal form. Will, shall, can, may, must are present tense verbal forms. And would, should, could, might are past tense verbal forms. These are only the finite verbs, both present and past tense. But you cannot say these are present tense because so they always show present action alone. These are all past tense. They always show only past action alone. Just like that you cannot define. So tense and time are two different concepts. There is no relationship between tense and time. They are merely a verbal form, that's all. Present tense, a verbal form. This is a present tense verbal form, this is a past tense verbal form. You cannot say this present verbs always show present action, the past tense verbs always show past action, like that. Okay, you cannot define like that also. Okay, with this I conclude my today's session. Thank you very much.